Perhaps what if I told you that building wealth quickly is not a mere fantasy but a deliberate strategy? The wealthiest people you admire, self-made millionaires and billionaires, did not stumble into fortune by accident. They followed a hidden principle repeatedly, deliberately, and intentionally. And what if I told you that this principle is not reserved for the privileged, the heirs, or the lucky few, but is accessible to anyone willing to take courageous action? The truth is straightforward, yet almost no one around you applies it. By the end of this lesson, you will understand precisely how it works, and why those who truly master it rarely fall back into poverty. What you are about to learn is not a trick or a shortcut. It is, perhaps, the most potent tool you can wield in the pursuit of wealth. Machiavelli once observed that men are not undone by a single mistake, but by their failure to prepare for the unpredictable turns of fortune. In The Prince, he wrote that fortune behaves like a woman, one who favors boldness and punishes hesitation. If you aim to build wealth with both speed and precision, you must first grasp a principle that almost every self-made millionaire and billionaire has leveraged, though few ever speak its name aloud. Asymmetric opportunity. This is the practice of risking very little while opening yourself to extraordinary rewards. Most people never recognize it because they are conditioned to believe that wealth requires long, painstaking years of steady labor. That illusion keeps them compliant and restrained. You are about to see the truth differently. Do not confuse this with hollow promises of manifestation, ritual, or the fantasy of marrying into fortune. Machiavelli detested illusions that lulled men into passivity. He emphasized that rulers thrive not through dreams but through calculated risks, executed with precision and cold clarity. Asymmetric risk is exactly this. Consider placing $5,000 into Amazon when its stock hovered at $5 back in 2001. That small investment today would be worth over $3 million, or imagine $1,000 invested in Bitcoin in 2015, now valued at well over $100,000. These are not fantasies, they are real examples of disproportionate outcomes, where the downside was limited, yet the potential reward was enormous. Asymmetric opportunities extend far beyond the realm of financial investments. They exist in every area of your life, often hidden in plain sight. And if you stay with me until the end of this lesson, you will not only understand them, but you will also learn how to identify them before anyone else does. You must train yourself to see these opportunities, for this is precisely how the powerful rise above the masses. The principle is straightforward: lose little if you fail, gain enormously if you succeed. This is the lever that transforms ordinary men into masters of fortune. The average person clings to symmetry, exchanging hours for wages, trading small, predictable gains for the illusion of security. Yet when the tide inevitably turns, his life unravels with no defense. He becomes unemployed, discarded like a pawn. Machiavelli taught that volatility is not a force you can eliminate. It is the essence of human affairs. Attempting to control it completely is folly. Risk cannot be avoided. You can only choose whether to suffer from it or to command it. The wealthy understand this truth. They harness risk to seize fortune, while others are immobilized by fear. This is why great investors accept that most ventures will fail. 6 out of 10 startups collapse. 3 will struggle along, but 1 will succeed with such magnitude that it compensates for all 10 combined. This is the logic of princes. Lose a minor skirmish and you accept it, but win a decisive battle, and the entire territory becomes yours. The symmetry of ordinary life, steady wages, slow promotions, leaves you exposed to devastating losses with little chance of achieving greatness. Asymmetry, however, flips the script. One major victory outweighs countless defeats. Your task is not to avoid loss, but to endure small setbacks in pursuit of monumental gains. Even this lesson you are hearing is an asymmetric act. A modest investment of your time could yield insights that forever alter the trajectory of your wealth. That is why Machiavelli advised rulers to act decisively when opportunity arises. Fortune must be confronted, even roughly. Do not imagine her as kind or forgiving. She rewards those who dare, not those who wait. And if what you've heard so far resonates, Do not make the mistake of leaving now. The next few minutes will reveal exactly how to apply this principle in your life, not as theory, but as a strategy you can implement immediately. By the end, you will not only understand how to identify asymmetric opportunities, you will know how to command them. Subscribe now and stay until the very end, because the final lessons are the ones most men never hear, and missing them will cost you more than you can imagine. The logic of risk and the weakness of the average man. Machiavelli understood a truth that most men consistently ignore. The greatest danger is not bold action, but passive conformity. He wrote that fortune behaves like a river, and when it swells and rages, the unprepared are swept away. The common man clings to safety, mistaking his wages, routines, and habits for permanence. He works steadily, accumulates small gains, and convinces himself that he is secure. Yet, when the market shifts, when a company collapses, or when technology changes the rules, all of his supposed security evaporates overnight. He fails to see that by choosing predictability, he has, in effect, chosen fragility. This is why most people will never attain real wealth. They misunderstand the power of asymmetry. They trade their time for modest certainty, while remaining exposed to catastrophic losses capable of wiping out years of effort. Look closely at the wealthy, and you will observe the opposite pattern. They deliberately expose themselves to volatility, because they understand that it is the fertile soil in which fortune grows. They accept that many of their ventures will fail. 6 projects may collapse, 3 may struggle along, but 1 will achieve explosive success, compensating for all the failures and securing their financial dominance. This is not luck, it is strategy. Machiavelli counseled rulers to prepare for defeat in minor matters while ensuring decisive victories in the critical ones. The logic is the same here. Fail frequently in low-stakes situations, but position yourself to capture the rare triumph that redefines your life. You may resist this idea, believing that failure is too painful to endure. Yet the fear is largely an illusion, magnified by perception. If you lose a few $100s in an investment, or invest a few months of effort in a project, what have you truly lost? Very little. But if even one of those ventures succeeds, it can redirect the trajectory of your entire life. The asymmetry lies in the ratio limited downside, unlimited upside. Most men cannot tolerate this equation because they allow emotion to overpower reason. They fear small losses more than they desire the vast gains that could transform their lives. Machiavelli warned against such weakness. A prince who cannot embrace risk will never secure his state. Consider the world of technology startups. Investors understand that most ventures will fail, yet they allocate resources across many because the rare success returns 1,000-fold. Think of the early investors in Facebook, Uber, or Airbnb. The majority of their other bets may have collapsed into nothing, yet a single winning company generated wealth beyond imagination. This is not gambling, it is calculated exposure, where the very structure of the game tilts in your favor. The poor man sees only the failures and mocks the attempts. The ruler sees the asymmetry and accepts the failures as the price for ultimate victory. This principle extends far beyond money. Every aspect of your life is shaped by asymmetry. A conversation with the right stranger at the right moment can open doors you never imagined. A $15 book that takes a few hours to read may transform the way you view the world forever. Most conversations fade, most books are forgotten. But the rare one reshapes your destiny. If you wish to rise, you must train yourself to embrace the trivial cost of repeated small failures in order to capture the rare success that outweighs them all. The masses fail because they seek to control what cannot be controlled. They try to eliminate risk rather than master it. But you cannot dam the river of fortune. You can only build channels to direct its flow. Machiavelli counseled that wise rulers prepare their defenses in advance, not when the enemy is already at the gate. So it is with wealth. If you wait until your job collapses, your currency devalues, or technology renders your skills obsolete, it will already be too late. You must prepare now, taking small risks that position you for decisive opportunities. Do not imagine that standing still is safe. In this world, standing still is drowning. Understand this clearly: you cannot win without risk, but you can choose risks that favor you. You can lose small yet win big. This is the secret the wealthy live by and the poor ignore. You may think asymmetry belongs only to investors or the wealthy elite, but in truth, it surrounds you every day. The challenge is not scarcity of opportunity, but blindness to it. Consider how a simple act, like creating content, follows the same logic. Writing a book, recording a podcast, releasing a video, each carries potential for outsized returns relative to the small effort required. Even posting a single idea online requires only modest time and effort. Most posts will attract little attention, and some will vanish entirely. Yet one may strike the right chord, spreading across millions. The downside is limited to the hours you invest. The upside can transform your reputation, your income, and even your life. This is why Machiavelli emphasized that appearances matter as much as substance. A single act performed at the right time and seen by the right people can elevate a man from obscurity to influence. Digital products magnify this principle even further. If you write an ebook or record an online course, the initial cost is only your labor. Once it exists, it can be sold endlessly with minimal further effort. The poor man complains of lacking capital, yet squanders his most valuable resource, time, on distractions that yield nothing. The wealthy man, in contrast, turns his time into seeds, planting projects that may bear fruit for decades. These are asymmetric moves: small risk, vast potential. The cautious man hides from them, clinging to the familiar. The bold man seizes them, knowing that fortune favors the daring. Even the realm of relationships carries the same logic. This principle extends even to relationships. Going on a date, attending a gathering, or speaking to someone new costs very little, perhaps only an evening. Many encounters will yield nothing, but one may lead to the partner who shapes the rest of your life, or to a connection that transforms your career. The weak avoid these opportunities, fearing rejection. Yet rejection is a trivial loss compared to the potential gain of a single enduring alliance. Machiavelli understood the value of alliances, writing that wise rulers must weave networks of loyalty and opportunity, for no man rules alone. So it is in your life. Every seed you plant, however small, carries the potential to grow into something immeasurable. Books, for example, are asymmetric opportunities. A single volume costs little, but one idea within it can permanently alter the architecture of your thinking. You may read 10 books and gain little, but the 11th might sharpen your vision in a way that multiplies your wealth or fortifies your resolve. The same holds for courses, seminars, and mentors. Most will not shake your world, but one will, and that one will repay its cost 100-fold. The average man focuses only on the time or money wasted on those that disappoint. The wise man accepts these as necessary costs, in the pursuit of the one that changes everything. The secret is to plant constantly. Not every seed will sprout, in fact, most will not. But you do not need them all, you need only a few to grow strong. The risk of planting is small, the reward of even one successful harvest can sustain you for life. This is the logic of asymmetric living. Every attempt, every conversation, every piece of work, every investment is a seed. Just as the farmer does not know which seeds will bear fruit, you must scatter widely and tend patiently. Machiavelli advised rulers to act as though fortune were always shifting and to prepare accordingly. By planting many seeds, you shield yourself from her cruelty and position yourself to receive her favor. When you begin to see the world in this way, fear no longer binds you. You no longer cling to the illusion of safety and routine. You become willing to endure small, trivial losses because you know that one decisive gain outweighs them all. And as your seeds take root, you will realize that your life has become a network of asymmetric opportunities, each one a fortress against misfortune, the coming flood, and the need for sovereign preparation. You live in an age where the ground beneath you is shifting faster than at any time in history. Machiavelli warned that a ruler who fails to adapt to changing times will lose both power and state. He compared fortune to a flood, an unstoppable current that sweeps away those who stand unprepared. That flood is here, and it takes many forms. automation, artificial intelligence, and the collapse of traditional systems. The old promise that if you choose one career, stay loyal for 40 years, and retire with security, you will be safe, is dead. Those who still cling to it will be swept aside. In this world, only those who master asymmetric opportunities will rise above the waters. Look at education. What you are taught in schools today is already outdated before you even graduate. The cost of intelligence has been driven to near zero by machines that can generate knowledge instantly. To compete on memory or information alone is foolish. Just as the printing press destroyed the monopoly of monks, AI is dismantling the monopoly of traditional education. If you trust your future to a classroom frozen in the past, you will be left behind. Machiavelli taught that the wise ruler does not rely on old defenses when new weapons are forged. He arms himself with the tools of the age. For you, this means building your edge through new systems of learning, new forms of productivity, and constant adaptation. This is why those who act now invest in their own income machines. You must build a stream of resources that allows you to keep planting asymmetric seeds without fear of collapse, whether through skills you can sell, digital products that scale, or businesses that endure beyond your present. You must create a base that funds your risks. Without it, your ventures are fragile, vulnerable to any setback that could destroy you. With it, you are free to take risk after risk, each one bringing you closer to the decisive victory that reshapes your life. Building your fortress of asymmetric opportunity. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must have both arms and resources if he wishes to command respect. So must you. Your income machine is your treasury, your asymmetric bets are your campaigns. Together, they form the strategy of sovereignty. Do not underestimate the urgency. Currency is being devalued. Governance is struggling. Technological disruption is accelerating. To delay is to choose defeat. Most will watch passively as their world erodes, clinging to habits that no longer protect them, but you have the chance to act differently. Every investment you make in knowledge, every connection you form, every project you release into the world is a stone in your fortress. You may lose many battles, but your fortress will hold, and one decisive victory will alter everything. The cost of each attempt is small, but the reward of the one that succeeds is immeasurable. This is the mathematics of power. This is how men rise while others drown. So, plant your seeds and water them. Read the books, even if 9 out of 10 fail. Launch the projects, even if most are ignored. Travel, connect, create, invest, even if most yield little. For you do not need them all. You need the one, the asymmetric triumph that repays the rest 100-fold. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the bold who prepare their defenses and strike when the moment comes. The same applies to you. Build your income machine. Keep placing your asymmetric bets. Understand that hesitation is defeat. If this lesson has given you clarity, share in the comments what asymmetric opportunity you now see in your own life. Your insight may be the spark another man needs, and if you are ready to keep sharpening your edge in a world where hesitation erases the weak, then subscribe and join this fortress of like-minded men who refuse mediocrity.